Welcome back to Radio After Rain. This is your safe space, the quiet after the chaos, the warmth after the storm, the voice that reminds you you're not alone. Whether you're here to heal, reflect, or just breathe for a moment, I'm so glad you've made it back. Today's episode is for the ones who survived things they never should have had to. The ones who are learning how to rebuild from ruins, and the ones who've realized, sometimes quietly, that they were never truly broken to begin with. There are moments in life that try to strip everything from you. Your peace, your joy, your sense of self. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's pain disguised as love. And sometimes it's the quiet ache of believing you're too damaged to be whole again. But here's what I want you to hear today. They might have broken things around you, even parts of you, but they didn't break you, not the soul of you, not the light God placed within you. This episode is about reclaiming that truth, about finding your way back to yourself, even after the storm. Let's breathe through this one together. They broke everything except me. I didn't realize how much I had survived until I looked around at the rubble and noticed I was still here, barely, but maybe sacred. Definitely. But still somehow upright, breathing, soft in the soul, even if the world tried to harden me. There's something holy in that. They broke everything except me. That sentence has echoed in my head like a whisper prayer I didn't know I was saying. And maybe that's what it is. A holy reminder that even though they tried to shatter me, I'm still here. There was a season in my life where it felt like every hand that reached for me came with hidden knives. Smiles masked as manipulation, promises turned into prisons. Love became a battlefield where I wasn't sure if I was holding a heart or a ticking bomb. I trusted people who didn't even trust themselves, and I gave love like it was water to a desert, only to be told I was too much, too emotional, too fragile. What they didn't know was that my softness wasn't weakness, it was endurance. It was power in the most divine form, because it takes strength to remain kind when the world gives you every reason to go cold. It takes grit to still believe in people after they let you down. I remember the way I used to bend myself, quieting my laughter so I wouldn't be too loud, silencing my opinions so I wouldn't be too complicated, making myself small in relationships so I wouldn't outshine the people around me. They didn't have to break me. I was doing it for them. But even then, even while I was bending, cracking, folding myself into a shape that felt palatable, the real me was still in there, fighting, waiting, breathing under the weight of it all. Eventually, the breaks started to show, and instead of hiding them, I started to explore them. Instead of covering up the wounds, I began tending to them, because the truth is, I was never meant to be broken in the way they wanted me to. I was never created to be palatable for people who didn't even know how to hold something sacred. Isaiah 61:3 says that God gives us a crown of beauty from ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, and a garment of praises for a spirit of despair. I clung to that. I still do. Because even though they burned down so many pieces of me, my confidence, my innocence, my belief in love, I know my ashes are being turned into beauty. My mourning is being met with joy. It's not always easy. Some days I still hear their voices, not their literal voice, but the ones they left behind in my mind. The ones that say I'm too much, too broken, too naive. But their voices, they're fading, and in their place a deeper truth is emerging. The truth that I am loved by a God who doesn't see me as a burden, but a blessing. A God who was with me through every storm, holding me when I cried, carrying me when I collapsed. Psalms 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." That verse feels like home to me. I started rebuilding, not to prove anything to them, but to reclaim everything they tried to take. My voice, my laughter, my belief in softness, in the kind of love that heals instead of harms. Healing isn't linger. I still trip over memories sometimes. I still cry without always knowing why. But I smile without bracing for impact. I love fully, loudly, beautifully, not because I'm naive, but because I'm brave. They broke everything except me. That line still sticks with me, not as a bitter reflection, but as a badge of honor, because the truth is, they tried. They really did. But there was something inside me, God maybe, hope, resilience, maybe all three, that refused to give up. So to the one listening who's in the thick of it, who feels like you've been shattered beyond recognition, I need you to know, they might break everything around you. They might try to rip apart your peace, your joy, your sense of self, but they cannot break what God built inside you. You are still here for a reason. There is beauty in your survival. There is strength in your softness. There is a future blooming quietly beneath the surface of you. What they couldn't take from me. There's something sacred about surviving what was meant to shatter you. I used to think breaking meant I had failed, that if something inside me cracked, I'd be ruined for good. But life has a way of showing you that some breaks are not the end. They are the beginning. A redirection. I've been through things I don't always have words for. There were nights I lay in bed staring into the dark ceiling, wondering how I'd wake up the next morning with a heart still beating after the emotional wreckage someone left behind. And yet, here I am. They broke everything they could. My trust, my sense of safety, my reflection in the mirror. They chipped away at my joy, made me question the sound of my own laughter, made me apologize for taking up space. But they didn't get me. Not the soul me. Not the part that holds the fire, the softness, the fight. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you." It didn't consume me. It tried. But I was more than what they did to me. More than the lies, the manipulation, the emotional warfare disguised as love. I carried so much of the blame. You ever do that? Hold yourself responsible for someone else's choices. I used to ask myself what I could have done better, how I could have fixed what was never mine to heal. It took me too long to understand. It's not weakness to feel deeply. It's not a failure to love someone who couldn't love you back in a healthy way. That's the kind of stuff that makes us human. Not broken, just human. And here's the truth I've had to say out loud again and again. I am not the damage done to me. I am not the worst day someone made me feel like I deserved. I am not the guilt they placed on my shoulders when they couldn't carry their own shame. I am not what they said in anger, and I am not the silence they left me with. I'm still here. There's something powerful about realizing that. 2 Corinthians 4:8-9 reminds us, we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed but not in despair, persecuted but not abandoned, struck down but not destroyed. Struck down but not destroyed. That line holds me when I start to crumble. It lifts me on days I forgot the strength it took to get here. I didn't walk out that fire untouched, but I got out. Burnt in places, yes, but I still had breath in my lungs and a God who never let go of my hand, even when I let go of myself. Sometimes I wonder how many of us are just walking miracles, quietly holding our pain together with hope and duct tape. How many of us are showing up to life despite the history written in bruises and betrayal? We don't talk about it enough. The quiet strength, the mornings you get out of bed when grief is still sleeping next to you. The conversations where you smile, even when your voice trembles. The faith it takes to try again and again. Psalms 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. That healing isn't always instant. Sometimes it's one deep breath at a time, one journey entry, one whispered prayer, one decision to believe you are more than what happened to you. That's where I'm at now. Relearning how to be soft without being stepped on. How to let people in without preparing for them to leave. How to honor the part of me that still hopes, still dreams, still loves. I'm not bitter. I refuse to be. Bitterness is a prison, and I've done my time. I want freedom. Thank you for sitting in this space with me. Remember this. The world may have tried to silence you, but your story still speaks. Isaiah 43:2 says, When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. You are not walking alone. God is with you. Always has been. Until next time, never forget the rain didn't wash you away. It grew something sacred in you. This is Radio After Rain. I'll see you in the next storm, or the peace that follows it.